All right, so we've got a good one today, a deep dive you guys have been asking for.
Should be interesting for sure.
Yeah, so get this. 24 years old, teaches himself guitar off YouTube, and blows up.
Everyone's on YouTube these days, right?
Totally. But we're talking bigger than Taylor Swift, bigger than Bad Bunny combined on the platform.
That's wild.
That's Peso Pluma in 2023. That's why he's on our radar.
Makes sense. People want to understand this guy.
Exactly. So we've got his Wikipedia page, pulled up, of course, articles from NPR, Billboard, all about those crazy YouTube numbers. Oh, and the best part, we snagged the transcript from his Bobby Alfoff interview, the really good podcast.
Definitely insightful, especially for understanding his personality, which comes across so strongly in his music.
You said it. So we want to get into all that, his appeal, especially with younger listeners, and how he's changing the game for regional Mexican music. You ready?
Let's dive in.
Okay. So Peso Pluma, born Hassan Emilio Kabande Laija, interesting guy. Right from the jump, didn't start out wanting to be a musician at all. Nope. Growing up in Guadalajara, it was all about athletic stardom. Soccer was the dream.
It's that dedication and drive that translates surprisingly well from sports to music.
You're so right about that. But then at 15, things change. Picks up a guitar, goes full meta teaching himself with YouTube tutorials.
Love it.
Right. And at first, it's all hip-hop, reggaeton, the deal.
Global genres, inescapable as a teenager, so that makes sense. But then his voice comes in, made for Corridos, as his Wikipedia page puts it. And this is key to the Peso Pluma puzzle.
Like he was destined for Corridos Tumbados before he even knew what that was.
Exactly. Imagine the heart of traditional Mexican corridos. Those ballads about life, love, hardship, sometimes even outlaw life. But then layer in modern trap beats the production that's so big right now.
So you've got older generations who might connect to the storytelling, those classic corrido themes.
And then you've got younger listeners who are all about that modern sound. The trap beats the energy. Peso Pluma's bridging a gap between musical worlds.
Bridging it more, like blowing it wide open. 2023, his breakout year, over 8.5 billion, with a billion YouTube views globally.
Insane.
More than any other artist on the platform.
It's genre redefining.
Yeah.
And it's not just YouTube. His hit Ella Baila Sola with Esteban Armado hit the Billboard Top 10, the first regional Mexican song to do so.
Right.
Plus, he nabs a Grammy for his album Genesis.
Which, by the way, we'll link in the show notes for you guys to check out.
Definitely should.
It's more than just the music, though, right?
Yeah.
It's his personality that shines through, which is where that Bobby Alfoff interview gets really interesting.
It does. You see this global superstar, but he's still Tio Peso, humble.
Yeah.
A little shy, laser focused on the music.
He seems so genuinely surprised by his own fame, even uncomfortable with it, which is oddly endearing.
And he's self-deprecating about his singing, which is wild considering his success. It's refreshing.
In a world of manufactured pop stars, Peso Pluma's authenticity is a breath of fresh air.
Totally agree.
We can't talk about Corridos Tumbados, though, without addressing the controversy, though, especially around narco-culture.
Right? It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
Definitely not something to shy away from. Some lyrics in the genre, even some of the Peso Pluma songs, reference cartels drug trafficking, even figures like El Chapo.
And there was that incident in Culiacan where an image of El Chapo was projected during his performance of Siempre Pendientes, a song already controversial for its lyrics.
It's a nuanced situation.
Yeah.
It's not about glorifying these activities, but understanding the historical and social context. Corridos have always reflected the realities of Mexican society, and those realities are complex.
It's a conversation that needs to be had for sure. But for now, let's shift gears and talk about the song that launched Peso Pluma into the stratosphere, Ella Baila Sola. Talk about strategic success.
Ella Baila Sola is fascinating. It's catchy, danceable, features Esteban Armado, who's killing it right now. And crucially, it steers clear of any violence or drug references. It's about spotting a girl at a party, simple as that.
Which is probably why it's his most popular song to date.
Right. It makes it safe for radio, for brands to get behind.
No.
It retains that core corrido sound, those key elements that make it instantly recognizable as part of the genre. That's crossover appeal done right. He's broadened his audience while staying true to his roots.
Okay, so we've got this blend of traditional and modern, the authenticity, the ambition, the controversy, the crossover appeal. Peso Pluma is a walking contradiction, and it's clearly working.
And that's why it's so fascinating to try and unpack. Where does he go from here? How does he navigate all of this? It's going to be captivating to watch.
So much to unpack, right? Like we've got talent, ambition, this fascinating mix of contradictions, but what's the bigger picture?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Peso Pluma effect. What does it tell us about music culture, even how we consume art these days?
It's like we're seeing a cultural earthquake in real time and trying to understand the aftershocks as they're happening.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
First, I think it shows us regional Mexican music is going global. And it's artists like Peso Pluma, those who blend tradition and modernity, who are leading the charge.
It's not just about appealing to nostalgia, right?
Exactly. It's about creating something new, something fresh that resonates across borders. And that YouTube dominance, 8.5 billion views, that's not just a number, that's a cultural phenomenon.
Huge. It really makes you think about the power of authenticity, you know, in a music scene that's so overproduced, so carefully curated.
Totally. And Peso Pluma comes across as real relatable, even a little rough around the edges.
Like that moment in the Bobby Altoff interview when he's talking about being nervous, even self-deprecating about his voice.
It's disarming. It humanizes him, makes him more accessible to fans, especially younger fans who are bombarded with images of perfection they can't relate to.
Peso Pluma is the anti-pop star, and that message clearly resonates.
Without a doubt, he's breaking barriers, redefining genres, proving that authenticity still cuts through all the noise.
It does. So where do we go from here? What's next for Peso Pluma? What does this all mean for the future of music? Is it a fad, or are we seeing something bigger?
Nobody has a crystal ball, but there are some interesting trends at play. First, genre boundaries are becoming more fluid. You see it everywhere.
Yeah.
But Peso Pluma's music is a perfect example. This fusion of traditional Mexican sounds with modern trap reggaeton.
Like he took the rule book and tossed it out the window.
Exactly. And he's not alone. We're seeing this genre bending across the board. Artists taking risks, experimenting, creating sounds that defy easy categorization.
Which is exciting, right?
Absolutely. And the second trend, online platforms, YouTube, TikTok mainly, they're playing a larger role than ever in promoting new artists. Peso Pluma's YouTube success is proof.
You can bypass the traditional gatekeepers, connect directly with fans.
A real power shift. And it's giving rise to this whole new generation of independent artists.
Who are driving innovation, pushing creative boundaries because they aren't beholden to record labels.
Exactly. They're free to experiment, to create music that reflects their unique vision.
Which is super interesting for those of us who love music, right? We're seeing the lines blur, the old rules being broken.
It's an exciting time to be a music fan. There's so much incredible music being made right now and coming from all corners of the world.
So for anyone listening, anyone who loves music, keep your ears open. Don't be afraid to explore, to dive into genres you might not be familiar with.
You might just discover the next Peso Pluma, the next artist who's going to change the way we think about music.
Peso Pluma, man, what a deep dive this has been.
Right from those Guadalajara streets to global stardom, who would have thought?
We covered it all, his unique sound, the whole Corridos, Tumbados thing, mixing the old school with those modern trap beats.
And let's not forget that YouTube dominance. I mean, 8.5 billion views.
Blows my mind every time. And that Bobby Altoff interview, man, what a chat, getting a glimpse into the guy behind the music.
For sure, it all adds up to a pretty fascinating look at what's happening in music right now.
Absolutely. The blurring of genres, the power shifting towards these independent artists, the impact of online platforms. I mean, it's a whole new world.
Peso Pluma's story, it's like a microcosm of this huge cultural shift.
Totally. And that brings us to our final thought for this deep dive. Something for everyone listening to think about as you explore Peso Pluma's music, as you dive into Corridos Tumbados and everything this genre has to offer.
Hit that play button, get ready.
Exactly. Think about this. What does Peso Pluma's rise tell us about how we consume music today? Is the whole concept of genre even relevant anymore? Or are we moving into this era of fluid sounds led by artists like Peso Pluma who just don't fit into any one box?
It's a question worth asking for sure.
It really is. So there you have it, folks. Another deep dive in the books. Keep your ears open, your mind curious, and be ready for the next wave of musical innovation because trust me, it's coming.
And it's going to be a wild ride.
It